welcome to Prenatal Yoga. And just wanted to just kind of start the day by acknowledging the amount of courage that it takes to show up for yourself and for your baby, especially if you haven't practiced yoga before. Just how important that is. And I think it's like kind of one of those things that you do as a mother, as a becoming mother, just like these things you've never done before. Just like this is your first baby, you've never been pregnant before, you've never birthed a baby before. So there's all these like new things that you're stepping into. So just want to acknowledge that. And then I also just want to acknowledge that in creating a space for people of color, Black, Indigenous, moms of color, to come together, like how important it is to have a safe place to kind of rant and vent in a way that you may not be able to if the room was mixed. And so, I've definitely had practices in spaces that were predominantly white. I've practiced in places that were all people of color, and the vibe is totally different. So just want to put that out there too, especially if you're kind of new to like practicing yoga, that most teachers are not of color. Sometimes it can be challenging to find spaces where there are people who look like you. And it's a different experience. Not to say that a white teacher can't hold you with love and care and respect you and see you for who you are. That can definitely happen, and that's been my experience in some of the spaces I've walked into. And I've also had some experiences that weren't so pleasant, and I leave those spaces. So just wanted to acknowledge like just the realness of everything, the realness of coming into a space and practicing yoga, especially if you're new. Also just kind of entering into motherhood. And as you prepare to birth your baby, then looking at postnatal yoga, and then moving on with your yoga practice, just wanting to invite you to consider being in spaces where you feel cared and respected. You just want to make sure that when you enter the space, you want to walk out of that space feeling better, right? Feeling more whole, feeling some sense of healing, feeling some sense of deep rest in your body. So I just wanted to acknowledge all of that. So we'll begin our day. Just a reminder again to have your props nearby. Sofas count as props, chairs, stools count as props, pillows, if you have them, count as props. Make sure that you have some hydration. I always have a cup of tea because I like something warm in the morning. But for you, it might be a tall glass of water, maybe some water with some fruit in it, and also have something to nibble on too, because we move for about an hour, so it's not unusual to get hungry. And prenatal yoga is the one yoga that it's okay to eat in. So please feel free. So let's just go ahead and find a comfortable seat. I am sitting on a blanket. I recommend that you sit on something as well. I'm sitting on the front edge of the blanket so that my hips and pelvis roll forward. As you are advancing in your pregnancy, this space gets really tight and there's not a whole lot of space. The baby's taking up all the space. So if you sit on the front edge of a blanket, what it does, it lets your hips move into an anterior pelvic tilt. So now I've created more length, right? So a little bit of shortness in my low back, but that's okay because I get some space here. If this doesn't work for you, you can always sit with the blocks between your feet and just kind of kneel on your knees if that feels better. So again, always want to invite you and encourage you to do what feels good in your body, what feels supported in your body, and to listen to your body all the way throughout the day, every day. So let's just let all of that go. Lengthen your spine, and if it feels comfortable to do so, softly close your eyes. And so as you arrive and settle in your body and in your seat, just beginning to notice the effects of this day on your body. So maybe you're just waking up. It's a beautiful morning here in Northern California. Or maybe it's the middle of your morning, or it's late afternoon, or maybe it's night. Just allow yourself to just feel into how much energy is in the body. there's any stiffness or tightness in your body, any sense of discomfort. And once you've acknowledged those sensations in your body, just beginning to bring your awareness to your breath. And beginning to breathe a little bigger, a little fuller breath, breathing in and out through your nose. And we'll begin the asana portion, moving into the yoga postures by chanting the sound of Om. We'll chant Om 3 times together. Gently join your hands together in front of your heart. Exhale completely and inhale generously for Om. Gently releasing the hands, allowing the eyes to open softly, to adjust to the light. And let's just begin by just moving the arms with our breath. So we'll inhale, reach arms up and overhead, look up. And exhale, press arms and hands away. Let's do that a few times. Inhale, reach arms up. And exhale, press arms and hands away. Again, inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, press arms and hands away. This time, go ahead, inhale, reach your arms up. Interlace your fingers, press the palms up to the sky, get long to your side body, kind of wiggling your hips a little bit, just kind of shifting the torso from side to side. And begin to bend the elbows and press the arms up. So again, an inhale, bend, and exhale, press. And you can begin to kind of move the body in a spiral shape if you like. So as you bend and press, you're flexing and extending the spine and moving in the ribs. Good. And let's reverse and move in the opposite direction. You can let the head drop and breathing deeply. Good. And let's go ahead, come into center with the arms reaching up to the sky. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, begin to lower the arms, bring chin to chest, and roll onto the back of the pelvis, pulling baby in towards you. Inhale, reach the arms up, lengthen the spine, big breath in. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Good. Again, inhale, reach up. And exhale, round the spine. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach up. Look up if that feels okay in your neck. And exhale. Good. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. This time we inhale, reach up. And exhale, release. Circle out those wrists as you lower your arms down and reverse the circle. Circle in the opposite direction as you lower your hands. Good. Open up your legs and feet. And I always recommend that you have something under your knees. So a blanket is helpful. It helps to prevent us from hyperextending through the knees. Or if you have some small pillows, you can use those also. So just sitting with the legs open, give yourself as much space as you need to accommodate your baby, accommodate your body. And let's begin at this point and flex the feet. So waking up the feet. And it's not uncommon to feel stiffness in the ankles, swelling in your feet and ankles. My feet grew a whole size while I was pregnant. They came back, thank goodness. But because of all this excess weight on your body, the lot of fluid, you're producing a lot more blood and plasma in your body. It's not uncommon for it to drain there. Also, calf cramps are also common too. So you just want to keep the energy moving in your body. Whenever you can, try to have your legs and feet up, right? When you're sitting down, just keeping things elevated to prevent the fluid from pooling in your lower body. Good. And let's go ahead and make some circles. We'll circle those ankles in one direction. Just waking up, I can feel my body waking up. And reverse and circle in the opposite direction. Good. And then let's come into stillness. We're going to remove these blankets because we don't need them right now. Set them back off to the side. Put your feet on the floor in front of you. You're sitting on something. Now you can come off of it because we're going to move the hips a little bit. And so hands can be behind you. You can turn fingertips out. You can turn fingertips back, whatever feels good for you. Try to keep your chest lifted and make sure there's lots of space, again, for your belly. So a nice wide pelvis. Feet are wider than hip width distance apart. Just begin to windshield wiper the legs. So just letting them lower from side to side. And this gives us space in that side waist. Keep your chest lifted so you get a little stretch across the chest. Space between the chin and the chest. And just breathing. You can take some deep breaths in through the nose and open the mouth and release that breath out. Good. One more time. Nice hot breath. Come into center. Go ahead and come onto your hands and knees. And this is a great place to pad your knees with a blanket, especially if you're working on a hardwood floor. I have carpet and a mat, so I don't necessarily need a blanket, but I just like to work with it. It feels much more supportive on my body. And so have my hands on my mat, my knees on my mat, hands about shoulder distance apart, knees are hip width distance, and just begin to just move the hips from side to side. So just kind of wagging your tail, as it were. And then begin to rock forward and back. So as if you're moving back into child's pose and rocking forward. And if this feels uncomfortable on your wrist at any time, feel free to come on to your fists, or you can move the hands slightly forward and see if that gives you a little relief of the pressure on your wrist. You're just rocking forward and back, forward and back. And then let's take this movement and turn it into hip circles. So circle your hips in one direction. Circle your hips in the opposite direction. And so these are all movements that I think I put probably in every prenatal yoga class I teach. Probably, maybe most yoga classes I teach. But especially prenatal, because when you're birthing your baby, you're going to need different ways to find some ease and some space, maybe to help breathe your baby down a little bit, maybe take some pressure off of the back if you have a little back labor happening. So just remember that these are always available to you. So let's reach that right leg back. Keep the toes curled under, so the right leg is long, and just begin to just rock into the sole of that foot. So just putting a little stretch into the back of your right leg. And breathing. Good. Reach that right leg back. Right heel reaches back. Left hand grounds down. Turn to the big toe side of your right foot and sweep that right arm forward, up, back, and down. Do that a few times. Inhale. 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 Again, inhale up. Good. Inhale, reach. and release. Good. Step that right foot forward outside of your right hand. You can bring your hands onto blocks if you'd like. That's an option for you. And just rocking yourself forward and back in those hips, same movement we've been doing. Good. You can make some circles in your hips. And just breathing. And reverse that circle, circle in the opposite direction. And coming into stillness, bring your right hand onto your thigh. Bring your left hand onto your thigh. Inhale, let's cactus those arms, reach them up. Inhale. Exhale, close the palms, close the forearms in towards each other. Let's do that again. Inhale, big breath. Exhale. Good. Inhale, big breath. Expand belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, release the breath, chest, ribs, belly. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, hug baby in towards your body. Good. Inhale, reach arms open. Exhale, reach hands down. And slide that right leg back alongside the left. And when you are ready, let's inhale, reach and lengthen that left leg back. And just begin to rock forward and back, forward and back. Good. And then when you are ready, we just begin to reach that left heel back, turn the foot down, and inhale, reach your left arm forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Big stretch across the chest. Inhale. Inhale. One more time. Inhale. Nice work. Set that hand down. Step your left foot forward. Find your blocks. And then begin to move, right? So we rock a little bit forward and back in the hips. And so in prenatal yoga, we move a lot, right? It's not so much about staying still, because when we're pregnant, sometimes staying still doesn't feel so good. So the movement is really supportive because it helps to kind of contract the muscles, helps to move that fluid that I was talking about earlier so that it doesn't become stagnant in the body. Good. And also kind of helps to work out the wiggles, right? Restless legs, any sort of numbness, tingling feelings you might have, it can help relieve that. So let's make some circles in the hips. So circle your hips in one direction and circle your hips in the opposite direction. Good. And then coming into stillness, we bring the left hand onto the thigh, come up into a low lunge, Anjaneyasana, and we inhale those arms to cactus. So I'm going to give you the option. So you can continue to do those chest presses. So you're really making it really dynamic, big stretch, and a contraction there. So we're building those muscles in the chest, the pectoralis muscles, like you would if you were doing a push-up. But you can take these last two, maybe you practice eagle arms, Garudasana, where we wrap the upper arm on top of the other upper arm and release. So if that feels good, you can do that. In order to do that, you have to have the elbow above the crease of the other elbow. We'll do it one more time. Make sure you're balanced, alternating which arm's on top. And inhale, open, and exhale, release. Nice work. Go ahead, slide that left leg back. We're gonna pass through downward facing dog, but if you don't feel good in down dog, please don't do it. If you have indigestion, any sort of acid reflux, probably not. So you can just step a foot forward, and come up to stand. Otherwise, we're gonna press the hands down. You can use your blocks if you like, curl toes under, lift the knees up, and just begin to pedal through legs and feet.
creating lots of space across the back of the pelvis. Sliding the shoulders down your back, hugging baby in towards the body. And inhale, come into center. Walk your feet and hands in together. Knees bend, bring your forearms onto your upper thighs. We just breathe here. Again, just to let the blood pressure adjust as transitioning to upright. And you can open your feet wide apart. Bring a hand onto your thigh, other hand onto the thigh, and turn this into a nice back stretch, right? Just rotating into center, little pressure in that inner thigh to open up into the groin. Just a little rotation, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Good, inhale to center and come all the way up. Nice work, good job. Let's come into center. So just standing nice and tall. Take your time. You can move your blankets off to the side. Standing tall. We can keep the blocks nearby because we will use them. And so let's go ahead, come into a nice standing position. Legs are open, wider than hip width distance apart. Not so wide if you can't control it because your center of gravity definitely changes and shifts when you're pregnant. Maybe you're close to a wall or maybe a piece of furniture. But you can open the legs as wide as you comfortably can and still maintain balance. Turn your toes out and just begin to bend into the knee, right? So we bend into one knee and shift to the side. You can bring your hands onto your hips. Good. And just waking up the legs, just seeing what this feels like to now be standing upright and tall in the body. Good. And let's change this from shifting side to side to just dropping down into a squat, right? So you get to decide what depth you're coming down into your squat. What's really important is that your knees are moving in the same direction as your toes. So that's really important. And that this feels comfortable, right? So if you're having pubic symphysis pain, maybe you want to bring the legs in a little closer to each other. If you're feeling like, this just isn't working for me, maybe put your back up against the wall and you can come into your squat with a little bit more support behind you. And you can also do it on a birthing ball, right? So I showed the birthing ball in our last 2 classes, and you can do it on the ball so that you're not supporting all the weight of your body. Good, so we'll just do a few more. Try to keep chest lifted. Good, nice, 2 more. Good job, let's stand up nice and tall. So we're gonna create a little flow. So we're gonna flow between like warrior 2, reverse warrior, and extended side angle, and then cycling through. So we're gonna kind of alternate from side to side. You'll see where we're going with this. So I start by turning my right toes to the right, towards the top of my mat, letting my left toes kind of follow. And so I'm just going to begin to just flow into my warrior 2 and straighten the leg, release the arms. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once more. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. Let's go ahead, reverse, reach up. Good. And so this isn't about the big side bend that we would do if we were in a regular hatha class, but just about creating space. And if this doesn't feel good, if you're feeling some wrong ligament pain, you can keep that right leg straight, right? So you can just reach up like that and keep the leg straight. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. Let's try for that extended side angle pose, right? So we just reach up with that left arm, resting that right forearm on the thigh, and come back up. Good. Come back down and lift up. Once more, inhale and exhale. Let's put that all together. So warrior two and reverse. Good. Yeah. Come back. And we can take the warrior two but we can straighten that leg. We've been doing that, right? So let's straighten right here. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, release. Good. Inhale, bend the knee, reach the right arm up and release. Nice. Find that extended side angle and release. Let's do that again. Warrior two and release. Good. Reverse. Right arm reaches up and release. Extended side angle and release. Good. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, warrior two. And release. Nice. Inhale, reach up. And release. Nice work. And extended side angle pose. And release. Good job. Nice work. Let's pivot on those feet. So toes will now face in the opposite direction. So left toes are pointing towards the top of the mat. Right foot follows along. And we just start by just kind of waking up that left leg, bending the knee, noticing any sensation there. And just like with the squats, you get to decide what depth you work at, right? So you get to decide how far you're bending that knee. So let's bring in our arms and find warrior two. So we inhale and release. Good. Inhale and release. Keep going. Inhale. Two more. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. This time we just reach that left arm up. Maybe looking up towards the fingertips and release. Good. Inhale, bend that left knee. Left arm reaches up and release. Nice. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale up. And exhale. Nice work. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Let's find extended side angles. That left forearm rests on the thigh. Your right arm up and over the ear. Good. And release. Straighten the leg. Lift up. Nice. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up. And release. Good. Inhale. Nice. Do that two more times. Inhale, bend the knee. Rest the left forearm on the thigh. Stand all the way up, straighten the leg. Last time. Inhale. Nice. Let's put all that together. So we'll inhale, warrior two. Release the arms, straighten the leg. Good. Bend that left knee, reach left arm up, look up. And release, straighten the leg, release the arm. Bend the left knee, extended side angle, right arm reaching overhead. And release. Keep going. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, release. Good. Inhale, reach up, look up. And release. Inhale, bend the knee, lengthen. And release. Good. Inhale, warrior two. And release. Inhale, reach up, look up, and release. Nice. Inhale, extended side angle pose. One more time. Good. Getting a little warm. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale. Good. And then extended side angle pose. Exhale. Come all the way up. Nice. Turn those Left toes in, let's walk those feet in together. Good job. It's warm here where I am in California, so it might be warm where you are. This is the perfect time to drink some water. I'm just gonna be making hip circles. You're more than welcome to join me. So hands in the hip creases, just circling through those hips, circle in one direction. And bend the knees, you can make it as big as you like. Again, another good movement to have in your birthing toolbox for when you're standing and maybe labor's progressing or labor has stalled a little bit. Again, just kind of supporting the body in the birthing process so you can just move, find some relief. It helps encouraging baby in the right direction, just working with gravity. Nice. So let's come into standing and find Tadasana. It's a little pelvic floor awareness work. So I'm standing with my feet a little wider than hip width distance apart. Toes are facing forward. You may not be able to see your toes depending on how big your belly is. But you can kind of move your hips back, look down at your toes, turn them so that they are facing forward. And then standing tall, right? So again, making sure you're not hyperextending through the knees. So the work is in the muscles, right? So there's always a little bit of flexion in the knees. If you're not pressing the knees back, we want to keep the thighs, the muscle of the thighs engaged. Gently hug your baby in towards your body to lengthen the tailbone down. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders open, create some length in the neck by creating space between the chin and chest. Arms lengthen off the sides of the body to help create more width across the chest. And we find Tadasana, mountain pose, right? Good. So let's bring the back of one hand onto the tailbone, back onto the back of the pelvis, and the other hand just right underneath your belly, so kind of below the navel. The navel might be in different places right now, but closer to the pubic bone, right? So as I breathe, as I exhale, I'm going to hug baby in towards me and drop my tailbone down. And as I do that, I'm slightly lifting the muscles of the pelvic floor, the same muscles you would use to control the flow of urine. And then I release, right? So I let everything kind of return to its neutral position. Exhale, hug baby in, gently lifting tailbone down, and release. Nice. Pelvic floor exercises are something you can do all the time throughout your entire life, because these muscles not only support the reproductive organs, but they also support other organs like your bladder. So it's not uncommon for people to experience incontinence, especially as they get older, because these muscles get weak over time, right? So we just want to strengthen them like you would your biceps. Same thing, same concept. So we breathe, inhale and lengthen, exhale, hug everything up and in. Let's do 3 more, just like that. Exhale, deep contraction, inhale, and exhale. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Good, and release. You can shake out arms, shake out legs, let that all go. And again, just, wanting to think about how you can incorporate just a few of those every day. You don't have to be in a full formal yoga practice. It can just be something that you're sitting at the table, maybe you're standing up in the kitchen, cooking, making yourself a little snack. Just practice a few of those throughout the day. Because once again, it's really like how we connect to our bodies, and sometimes we don't really think about the pelvic floor a whole lot. So it's just bringing awareness, mindfulness about different parts of the body. So we're gonna do one more standing pose, and then we'll make our way into squat. And this one, again, is a little bit of an inversion. Your head's below your heart. So if you want, you don't have to do this. Again, I'll show it on the birthing ball also. I have a birthing ball nearby, but I'll show the first variation. So you're gonna come back into that wide stance that we were in. Except this time your toes are gonna face forward. You can bring your hands onto your thighs and just start here, right? So the upper body will be in a downward facing dog, but your legs are really wide apart. I'm gonna take my blocks or my stool or my chair or my birthing ball and place it in front of me and begin to walk my hands forward and lengthen my legs. So that's the option if you're on a block, on blocks, on a small stool. You could do the same thing with a birthing ball. So you would just have the ball in front of you, and this way your head wouldn't go so far low down towards the floor that if you're having any sort of acid reflux issues, that you might feel kind of not so good. So I can do the same thing with my ball, right? And you can bend your knee again in the same direction of your toes. You can make circles, especially if you're on a birthing ball. And so again, it's about creating width across the back of the pelvis. And we're just gonna take 5 breaths here, just breathing deeply in and out through your nose. And then the way we come out is the same way we came in. We move whatever object we're on in a little closer to us. We bend the knees, hands onto the thighs, and slowly inhale, come up. Exhale. Nice. So we bring the feet in a little closer to one another, and we're preparing for squat. So there's contraindications for squat, so feel free to do some hip circles while I share those with you. So contraindications for squat, please don't do squat if you have any of the following. Any sort of pubic symphysis pain, right, so where the 2 halves of the pelvis meet right here in the low pelvis. If you have deep vein thrombosis or any varicosity, so varicose veins, or if your doctor has informed you that you have any sort of vein issues, any hemorrhoids, if you have placenta previa, so if the doctor has told you that the placenta is partially covering your cervix, don't do squat, right? So you can use the birthing ball. You can even lean up against the wall and just kind of practice staying up in a high squat. You can even just do like a squat like this, right? This is a half squat, just having one foot up, just a little bit. You can work within your range of comfort. For those of us that are going to move into the full expression of squat, I do recommend squatting on something, so that small stool or your blocks. I'm going to turn my blocks flat side down and place them behind me on a mat so that they won't slide around. I stand nice and tall, feet are wider than hip width distance apart. Look back, see where your blocks are, make sure you know where your target is so you won't miss. And let's just go ahead, we're just gonna move the arms just to prepare us. And exhale, release. Good, just 2 more like that, inhale. And exhale, release. And maybe you put a little bend in the knees, inhale. And exhale, release. Good, this time let's inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Begin to bend your knees. Look down. Drop your hips in and find your box. Nice. Yay, success. We made it. So feel free to adjust anything with the blocks or the placement of your feet. Where you can release the arms and hands and just sit up nice and tall. This feels really good. Just breathe here. If you'd like, you can bring hands together in front of your heart and just gently press the hands in towards each other. Press the elbows in towards the inner knee, the inner knee, and lengthen the spine. Let's just take a minute here to be really mindful. So if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes. So just practicing that deep 3-part breathing where we expand belly, ribs, chest as we breathe in, and soften chest, ribs, belly as we breathe out. Opening the eyes, releasing the hands. A few ways to come off of your blocks. Again, if you're on the wall, just press yourself away from the wall. We're going to come onto our hands and knees for a few moments. So you can slide your feet back behind you and then kneel forward if that works for you. You can also slide the legs off to the side. Move the blocks off to the side. Come into tabletop. And just find a cat here. So just bring chin to chest and round the spine. And inhale back into neutral. Do that 2 more times. Exhale. And inhale. Last time, exhale. And inhale. Nice work. And just go ahead, shift the hips from side to side. Make any final movements that would feel good in your body. And then when you're ready, coming into stillness, taking a seat as we prepare to transition into our final asana, savasana. So sitting upright or sitting on your blocks if you'd like, you can be sitting on something. But we take a yogic mudra. A mudra is just a position of the body with the hands that really helps to seal in the energy of the practice. So take your hands behind your back. Hold on to the wrists with the thumb and index finger. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bow the head, chin to chest. And sealing in the benefits of today's practice. Inhale, gently lift the head, release the hands. And release. Nice work. So preparing for Savasana. We've done Savasana now a handful of times, so you have a variety of positions you can get into. If you're still comfortable on your back, feel free. I recommend placing a bolster underneath your knees. For those of you who maybe want to use another piece of equipment, if you have a sofa nearby, or even that birthing ball, you can put your legs up on the ball. So I just want to give you lots of options, right? So I will demonstrate slide lying. I think last week I did legs up on the sofa. So you'll need your blankets, all of them. We're going to use a blanket to support the head. So you'll create a little neck roll for yourself, for your head. So I like to kind of have it open like so and roll just a little bit. So that's for my neck, and then my head will rest there, and it will need to be adjusted once you're on it, right? Then you'll take another blanket, and this one is for your torso to rest on. So it's open wider, bigger than the neck one is. And I place this one on the mat with a little space between my neck and my torso for my shoulder to rest on. So I'm actually going to build this up with a little height. Some moms might complain of feeling shoulder pain. And so if you can, find a way to support yourself when you're sleeping. Just definitely take your time to prop yourself up. And then last but not least, take your bolster. And this will be for your top leg, for that right leg. If your legs are really long, you can place your blocks at the edge of the bolster so that your foot has a place to rest. So setting yourself up, lying down, my left leg is straight, my right knee bends and rests on top of the bolster. My left arm rests in this little channel I created. So the left shoulder's on the mat, torso's on the blankets, and my neck is resting. So just creating that little bit of a roll for the neck and support for the head. Right arm rests on top of the body. And this should feel really good and supportive. Maybe a blanket or a wedge pillow underneath the belly to support the belly. And just resting. And so we'll rest here for 3 minutes. So try your best not to move. And I know I said earlier that we move a lot when we're pregnant because it feels better to move. But right now is the time where we try to be still. Try to just let your whole nervous system rest and relax. The only thing that's moving is just your breath, your heart beating, right? Maybe the baby. But just allow yourself to just chill out, lying down. You have a lot in your life that's going on, a lot going on in the world. Give yourself this time to rest deeply. So we'll be here for 3 minutes. I will sound the bowl at the end of those 3 minutes, but I'm going to be quiet starting now. Take a long, slow, deep breath in through your nose and open your mouth and sigh the breath out. Do that again. Deep breath in. And just take your time to gently move the body, right? If you're lying on your side, right hand presses down, left hand presses down, and we lift ourselves up. If you're on your back, roll to your left side. So just give yourself a few moments to return to a tall, upright seat. And just feeling the effects of the practice in your body. And, I just noticed for myself personally, offer these classes, and because most of us are probably at home, right, sheltering in place, I think about all the things I need to get done today. It's like, okay, well, I've got to log on at 7:30 for this class. I'm thinking about all the things I have to do, and then I get here and I'm practicing with you, and I forget about all those things I need to do because I'm in my body and I'm with you with your body and I'm practicing with you. And so I just want to offer that might be something that you may not even be consciously aware of, like all the stuff that's happening, all the things you need to do. And when you start to breathe, when you start to pay attention to your body, the mind doesn't turn off, but it slows down. It kind of recedes into the background. And that's what this is really all about. Most of us are in our heads all the time. Like if you're not sleeping, you're thinking. And even if you're sleeping, you're still thinking because sometimes what you're thinking wakes you up, right? So the beauty of a body-based practice like yoga is that it just really helps you just connect on a very deep level to your body. And when we do that, it's so healing for us. And it can also be revealing to us, right? If there's things that's going on, unresolved trauma, unresolved hurts, sometimes those things can also bubble up to the surface. And, if that happens, I certainly encourage you to, reach out to a therapist or a counselor you can talk to. Because mental health is also really real and very important. I have used therapists throughout my life, and I highly recommend, just like you go to your doctor for a checkup every year, you go if you've got a chronic condition, you're pregnant right now, you're going on a regular basis. Sometimes we need mental health support as well. So I know within communities of color, there can be stigma around reaching out for help when we're having problems. But I want to speak out as a Black woman. Please, if you need therapy, if you need support, please reach out. So, and I can, if you need additional resources, I'm more than happy to share those as well. And maybe I'll just go ahead and just post that because I think it's really important to have that support, especially as you're pregnant. So, with that, we will close our practice. And as we normally and usually do, just by acknowledging all of the women who've birthed before us, right? All of our moms and our grandmas and great grandmas, all the women who have struggled and traversed so much difficulty and hardship, and just wanting to acknowledge, the miracle of us being here, right? As people of color, the effects of like slavery, colonization. It's a miracle that we're here. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and just really want to recognize all the women, some women we know in history, many of them we don't, know their names, especially if you come from a legacy of slavery, but, we don't have to know their names to honor them because we carry them with us. They're in our hearts, they're in our bodies, they're in our DNA. So sitting comfortably, sitting tall, and I like to just start by just kind of lifting up, just kind of opening the hands, just creating a sense of respect and receptivity, right? So when we lift up hands as a way that we show respect or sometimes even joy or elation. And so can we feel that sense of joy and elation right now as we expect to receive whatever it is we need, healing in our bodies, in our hearts, and in our minds. And just wanting to honor and offer reverence to the divine, to our ancestors, just recognizing all of the powerful women who've come before us, knowing that they live inside of us, and so we can draw from their strength and their wisdom, their courage. Gently join the hands together in front of the heart, just feeling all of that in, that sacred offering, that prayer. We too are vessels, vessels of creation. We are the future, giving birth to the future.
Bowing the head, chin to chest, honoring ourselves, recognizing the strength and the wisdom in our bodies, making a baby so miraculously. All you have to do is just kind of show up, right? Breathe and eat and drink and sleep and love yourself and love this baby. And everything else will happen. Cells will divide and multiply and grow into a spinal cord, heart, lungs, brain tissue, nose, mouth, cheeks, little face. Just thinking about how miraculous that all is. And just lift the hands, touch the center of the heart, making contact with our own inner wisdom. We bow forward. Namaste.